Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver for the Sony PlayStation 1. Also available on the Sega Dreamcast. In the first video, we died! We have surpassed Kain, and Kain didn't seem to like that, so he threw us into the Lake of the Dead, where we spent an eternity in what was basically a vat of acid. And we ended up being revived by the Elder God to be his Soul Reaver, in which we have to avenge our own death by fighting Kain and restoring Nosgoth. And if it isn't obvious enough already, Nosgoth looks like it's about ready to die. There are earthquakes, there are cataclysms, there's vampire-like creatures everywhere. If there are any humans, you're either dead or they're going to be dead. Anyway, we've made it a little bit of a ways, and the world that we know is in ruins. So before I do anything, I do want to save my game. Might as well go ahead and create a new save file. Just waiting on this. Continue. And there we go. Now there are enemies here, but we have sharp things that we can grab. We can just walk up to it and press square to grab it. And if you want to put it down, we can hold L1, press square, and we'll put it back. Now, if we're not near a wall, we'll just lay on the floor. But if you are near a wall, he lays it against the wall. Makes it a little easier to pick up, in my opinion. Also, the game lets you auto-aim by holding triangle, and you can cancel out of it with L1. And if you know what you're doing, you can hit the enemy and do a little bit of damage. And once you bloody up the enemies enough, you can use the triangle button to impale the enemy with our new little spear here, which is perfect. Now, if they're caught unawares, you can hold circle, triangle when you're facing them and then release it to throw it, and you'll kill them in one shot, which is excellent. It's something that I really want to do. Anyway, we need to go this way. R1 lets you sneak, as mentioned earlier, but we're just going to do the javelin behind the back thing and just get rid of them. And now we're going to take care of this guy. I want to take care of this guy first. He will come back once we go through the nearby door, which I do want to go through. But I do want to take care of this guy first. Keep my health high as much as I possibly can. When you impale an enemy, you'll drop your weapon, but you can always pick it back up to square. Anyway, let us go through this door because, believe it or not, that symbol on the door that looks like a sun tells you that there's a portal there. And we want to get on it and activate it. Now, there will be a different symbol in each portal room. And if you know what they all are, you'll be able to tell where you need to go. Now, we could go back to where we began by pressing up, but that will take us a bit of a ways back, and we will also lose our weapon. So I'm just going to press square to get out of it. We will find another portal soon, and I want to get it. I want to get all the portals, honestly, because that'll allow us to get around everywhere with a lot less time. And I told you this guy would come back, but I was ready for him a little bit. Don't want to take too much damage because I do want to make sure that I keep my health high as possible, as I mentioned earlier. And here we are at the Lake of the Dead.
This, at least, had remained constant. The endlessly swirling vortex of the abyss. My tomb and the womb of my rebirth. Though much of Nosgoth's landscape had changed, these cliffs gave me my bearings. My clan territory was to the west. I was anxious to see how my descendants had fared during the centuries of my absence.
Why do I have the feeling that they didn't fare well at all? Anyway, let's glide over here. That way we don't fall into the Lake of the Dead again. Well, we would have fallen into it once. We got thrown in the first time. And we just need to follow the path and watch out for the sound of vampire-like creatures. And you went down in one hit, apparently. I did not expect you to do that. I should really show off how these enemies disappear, by the way. It's really interesting. Very 90s special effects-y. And there's that theme again from the beginning of the game. Ozar Midrashim by Kurt Harland. Kurt Harland, being the lead singer and one of the founding members of Information Society, is from the 1997 album Don't Be Afraid, and it was used as Raziel's theme not only in this game, but also throughout the series. We're getting a nice little variant of it, and I like that. And I know that you're smacking me upside the head, but, well, now it's payback time. And yeah, that is really nice. He just disappears from head to toe with like this nice little magical flair.
Utter desolation. My once proud kin wiped from this world like excrement from a boot. I knew the hand that wrought this deed.
It's gotta be Kain! Anyway, there's two of these guys. And, well, it's a good thing I had these guys near me. So I was able to get this back with limited difficulty. Now I just need to get rid of this guy, too. That disappearing effect is so satisfying. Anyway, there's another portal door here. We're going to go in here first so I can get myself another portal. And I'm also going to be able to explain things about how to do things a little bit further. So, not cloudy. This is the place we were in earlier. We haven't been here yet, and it's a little cloudy here. If there's a little bit of gamma, if it's a little brighter, if it's like this as opposed to, say, like this, you can't go there. If it's not slightly brighter than it's supposed to be, then you can. And, by the way, there's going to be quite a few portals. And, once again, I want to make sure that I get them all because you never know. Alright. Next place we need to go is this place because that's where the nearest monsters are going to be. So, Kurt Harland of Information Society, he wrote this track. He basically performed this track called Ozar Midrashim, which is Raziel's theme. And you'll be hearing it throughout the game. And he also composed most of the music for this game. And there's a custom MIDI engine. Oh, we're not going there. There's a... What does it say on Wikipedia? I have that out in front of me. Okay. Harland remarked that under Amy Hennig's direction, he programmed music to change based on the current gameplay situation, such as when you're fighting an enemy or when you're swimming in water. This variation was accomplished through a custom MIDI driver which altered music based on signals from the game engine. Also, Jim Hedges handled the remaining audio, but Kurt Harland of Information Society, Kurt Harland Valequin, he worked on some of the music for Gex Enter the Gecko. I know he worked on the music for the Sega Genesis Scooby-Doo game. He worked on most of the music here, and what he does here, what he's done here, really good job. Yeah, believe it or not, he composed music for Crystal Dynamics for a time. Just lived in San Francisco and made video game music. I also recommend Information Society's first 3 albums. Information Society, Hack, and Peace and Love Incorporated. If you actually aren't interested in what kind of music he does. Because those three albums, pretty darn good. Anyway, I picked up another weapon, just to keep things a little fresh. Not like there's going to be much of a change from one weapon to another here. But I do want to beat up the enemies. Can you pick up the rocks? You can. Not sure why you'd want to. You could use them as a weapon. But it would make it easier to fight enemies from afar. And he saw me, so I couldn't impale him. I can impale him now, though. So, we need to go up these spiral stairs. And I want to turn the camera here a little bit, because you probably noticed him already, but yeah, there's a guy here. Can I do it? Dang it. I thought I'd be able to actually impale him. I thought I'd be able to insta-kill the guy, but... well, that didn't go as planned. Alright. And here's a switch. We operate it by pressing square. By lifting this switch up, we lower this drawbridge, which is going to be right next to us. Yeah, it's right there in case you think about mindlessly wandering around trying to figure out where the bridge is. And now, a whole other area. Oh boy. Yeah, everything is dark.
No! Please!
I didn't recognize these flayed racks of flesh. Their scent was vampiric. They gnawed upon their victim's carcass like dogs.
And yeah, the game engine does that. It takes a second for it to remember that you have a weapon. Can I do this from here? I can! But you need to kill these guys rather quickly. Or else they're popping right back up. And they'll also auto-heal too. Because, as Raziel has mentioned, vampiric skin begins to close when there is an open wound. Can I have the energy, please? Oh my word! This is not going very well. Just kept doing the same thing over and over to me again and nearly darn well destroyed me. Anyway, there is a gate right here. We need to open it. And yeah, you can see that our energy is getting low because of the blue energy coursing through our body like that. Not fun. Come on, get in me. Thank you. Ah, this is not fun. This is not fun at all. But we're now in a graveyard. Ugh.
This charnel house bore the unmistakable marks of Melchiah's clan. To what depths had our dynasty plummeted if these ghouls were the descendants of my high-born brother? Were they so debased as to recruit fledglings from the desiccated corpses here interred?
Oh, this is just great. Come on, impale. Thank you. And there's another staff we can grab here. Not sure why I'd want to, but... well, I already used that one to impale a guy, and it was just sitting there, so... okay. And we need to continue through here. So we need to go ahead and push this to this wall, and then we can keep pressing or keep holding this and keep holding square and just get right there. And we need a high jump to get upwards.
My brother Melchiah was made last, and therefore received the poorest portion of Kain's gift. Although immortal, his soul could not sustain the flesh, which retained much of its previous human frailty. This weakness, it seemed, was passed on to his offspring. Their fragile skins barely contained the underlying decay.
So, we've already heard of Duma. He was mentioned in the first video when we saw our first enemies. Well, not the scavengers, but the ones that were actually feeding on the human. Melchiah is another one of Raziel's brothers. And apparently, just like his offspring, he's basically a zombie. His flesh is rotted and decayed, and it can barely hold... It barely works as a vessel for his soul. And something tells me that since we know who he is, we are about to meet him. Also, given how these enemies are, you want to watch out sometimes because, well, they can just bury themselves in the dirt and then travel underground to you to make things a lot worse. And by make things a lot worse, I'm talking about popping up right in front of you and trying to attack you. Now by going over here, I need you to right here. That makes things a little easier for us. Now, I probably shouldn't be standing here, but at the same time, I really want this guy to move into the sunlight. And with that, we have a lot more health. Work smarter, not harder. I was just wondering if that was even possible, and it was. Anyway, you don't want to go over here because it just takes you back. There is a door right here, and I want to open it. Well, a gate, but I digress. And I'm holding the sneak function here, so make it easier for you to see the spiral staircase leading downwards. Nothing enemy-wise down there, but it does lead to a portal. And we can go here, here, and here. So we have 4 portals activated already out of like some number. And this is the way out. So there's some enemies here where these graves are. I want to make sure that I keep my health as high as possible. And if you stay here long enough, all the enemies will pop up eventually. And you can destroy them all for health. And I'm trying to keep my health high, and things aren't going very well. Things are not going as well as I would like. Still want to fight them, though. Maybe I can get a net gain out of this. And so far, things are looking up on that front. Come on. And there's just one more of these things to go. I should probably be a little more careful. And also not be in auto-look mode because, well, that will make it easier for the zombies to pop up. If I'm standing there in combat stance, they're not going to come at me for some reason. And didn't go as well as I hoped. There's a block there, but I don't know what you could possibly use it for. We do need to go over here, though. And we need to be ready to glide. Otherwise, we're going to the drink, and we're ending up back in the spiritual realm. And there we go. There should be another enemy here. And I keep thinking the enemies are closer to me than I think they are. And that leads to this room. And hey, enemies. I will gladly take their life force. Why are you attacking me? Stop doing this. And more enemies are coming at me. That's doesn't sound good. Okay, I was mistaken. There aren't more enemies. However, we are in a bit of a mausoleum, and I have been playing for more than 30 minutes, so I'll just go ahead and save in Soul Reaver A. Overwrite. And there we go. Join me next time where we explore more of this cemetery and see if we can find Melchiah. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, and thanks for watching.